Week 8.
I can't take it no more.
Week 8. What is this doing? I don't know. Week 8.
I can't take it no more. I can't. I cannot.
Now, we had some heavy hitters. The SEC games yesterday were bananas. Number 1 versus number 5. Number 8 versus number 11. And that's Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee being number 11. And we knew we were in for a day.
I would not want to be in the SEC right now.
I wouldn't want to be in the Big 12 right now.
Well, we'll see.
But that's a different story.
That's a different story.
We need to dive into some of the schematics. Like, I mean, I know that, you know, people have their numbers and all that. But looking at it, you know, because we always know more than the experts. Us looking at it, it's crazy. Now, you brought up a point yesterday about how much time they have until we go into CFP, college football playoff rankings.
Yes. And I had to apologize because I was looking at it and I said, hey, these guys got about, 6 more weeks. They do not. Because you know what? I looked at it again and I said I didn't understand it because there's so much going on this year with these expansion teams added and so on and so forth.
How much time do they have there to do it?
Okay.
No, go. It's good.
Okay, but anyway, long story short.
Okay, go.
November the 5th is when the selection team comes on and makes their announcements. November the 5th. And I went, oh no! I said it was 6 weeks from now. But this is week 9.
So short answer, y'all, it's 3 weeks. I didn't know we were going to get a soliloquy.
I was trying to get y'all the long story so y'all could know what's going on. But anyway, week 11. Week 11 was the week we're going to really have to step it up because they do their first show on Tuesday. And guess what?
November 5th.
November the 5th.
Okay.
And we start playing Tuesday.
Is that voting day too?
That's voting day too.
November 5th.
And there's
do you
games.
Vote or do you watch the ranking game? Go out and vote, y'all. I'm just kidding.
I watch the rankings.
Snaps. Okay. So what we also talked about was how are they going to do the college football rankings with the new 12-team playoffs? Are they going to try to guess who the Power 4 conference champions are going to be? Or are they going to say, you know what, we just going to rank everybody per usual, 1 through 25, and you just think 1 through 15 is in the mix? What do you think?
I think maybe 1 through 20 might be in the mix at the rate these people are going.
Nah, you just said a word. You just said a girl.
Look at it.
Girl.
Am I wrong?
Girl.
Am I wrong?
You just said a word. You might be right about that. It might be 1 through 20. What do you think they should do? Which way do you think they should go?
Oh my God. That's my late brother would say. Nobody wants to win for me. I think they should go the same way they have every year. Just vote right because December 12th is when they're going to make the big
I know, but we know that.
So I would just rank them.
Just in your opinion. It's up to you.
I rank them.
You had it a ranking. You would just do them 1 through 25.
Just like they've been doing them. Don't worry.
In the past year. Don't worry about the whole.
Don't worry about the whole who going to do
because then
what.
it gets weird, right? Because as we see, you're going to tell me the new rankings, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You're going to be new rankings later. But as of the rankings yesterday, number 1 is SEC. Number 2, 3, and 4 are all Big Ten. And so it's like, are you going to just shaft people when you don't?
Nah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd be mad either way.
I don't know. Well, we're going to find out because I think they're going to just rank them. And then when it comes down to those games, like you said, the conference championship, winners automatically go.
Mm-hmm.
So why
Big
stress
Four?
about
Only Big Four. Let's be clear. It's not every conference. Just the Big Four gets the top 4 spots in the bye week in new 12-team playoffs.
So why stress it until I get to that point?
Absolutely.
Why stress it? Let y'all play.
Yep.
Go ahead and play.
Yeah. Why? I'm not gonna
go ahead and lose if you want to.
And quit trying to. You know what? And quit trying to predict everything. I think I might like your way. Yeah. Just give them the top. Give me the top 25 based on the rankings because y'all always try to think y'all know what y'all talking about. And as we've seen,
it never works out.
As we've seen. Okay.
It never works out.
Speaking of, let's get. Hey, I think I might want us to do a ranking. Should we wait till November 25th or should we go now?
No, we're gonna wait till November 5th.
Okay.
I want to see
Okay.
how close we come to them.
We'll put ours out November 3rd. How you like them apples? We'll put ours out before them. Okay.
We'll put ours out.
Okay.
So everybody come to Saturday Hangover.
Right. Watch the show. We're going to put our own out. CFP who? We don't need them. Okay. So I'm just going to go top to bottom.
You might as well, because there ain't nothing that was out there yesterday.
I mean, the top was topping and the bottom was bottoming, as the kids would say. So I'm going to go number 5, Georgia, at number 1, Texas, and OMG. I'm not going to OMG it, because I said
surprised.
Georgia.
I wasn't surprised.
I wasn't either. Now, what I predicted and what I think almost happened, I'll say 90%, Georgia looked like Georgia for the most part. Carson Beck did not look like 100% himself.
He sure did.
He still looked a little shaky. But he
took these interceptions.
Yes, he had 3 interceptions. That's unlike him. But Georgia finally looked like the national championship team that I talked about a few weeks back. This piece is gonna drive me crazy. Okay.
And Texas was not tested, and I said that before. They have not been tested. You're number 1. Okay, that's fine. Give me a team that I can fight against. And we did. I jumped in there.
State was on a bye week yesterday.
Okay.
Which we also, speaking of bye weeks, you found out last week, which we didn't know.
I bet everybody else did. I didn't know that the teams this year have 2 bye weeks.
2 bye weeks.
And I went, why is Ohio State off again? They were just off.
It was weird.
I had to look it up. Teams got
2
2
bye weeks.
And it's due to this week 0. Because teams technically are not supposed to start until after Labor Day. But because of the the expansion, but they started a week ahead of time.
Well, I think if we really boiled it down, it probably would be the network money. Because remember, the one game was like in Ireland, Florida State, Georgia Tech.
Yes.
And so it was, you kind of got to give that team or those teams grace if they're flying all the way across. These kids are in college and things like that. So week 0, they got 2 bye weeks. I wonder if that's going to be normal, be based on the TV deals that they've done.
I don't know.
Because that was a lot of the shakeup, right? Was because of all the, what added to it was all of the TV money enticed people to change conferences.
It's so crazy.
That's above our pay grade. Okay. Why was Texas number 1? You just said, I was already asking that. You can go back to episode Fill in the Blank, and I gave a whole rant about the state of Texas. I'm not going to talk about how we lost money in that river rivalry game. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let it go. It's last year. I'm going to let it go. It's over a year now. But let's talk about Georgia's defense.
Well, you know what? They came out, like you said, they looked like Georgia. And I said, now this is the Georgia I want to see.
Yes.
They had the close game against Kentucky. They had that shaky game against Alabama.
Lost the game against Alabama.
But that fourth quarter, second half comeback.
Yep.
They look like the old Georgia.
Yeah, they've been a second half team, if you ask me, this season.
Yeah.
And Georgia normally is a full game team.
Yes.
And put a pin in being a full game team, because that would be our next topic about somebody that we won't name. But I also Etienne,
just say Etienne.
He was running all over the place.
Ooh,
he came alive. He looked amazing.
Look good.
Quentin Ewers couldn't do anything. They put the backup Arch Manning in. He couldn't do anything.
He was 3 for 6.
I just think Texas was not a number 1 team. They were not a number 2 team, if you ask me. And I don't know where, why, and how. Well, I do, but they got to be ranked so high because they were in the playoffs last year and because the personnel kind of stayed the same. They got to be ranked up high. When poor little Washington made it, we ain't going to talk about it. Okay. Last but not least on that game, they said at the end, Coach Kirby Smart for Georgia, they said, he was salty. He was salty because they interviewed him right after the game on the field, and he said, your whole network went against us, ESPN, because nobody on College Game Day picked Georgia.
I didn't know that. And Kurt, of course, said, well, I didn't. I didn't pick. I didn't pick.
He probably was on his plane.
He probably was.
He was probably on his plane because he announced he announced that game.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So how you didn't pick?
I think you
Where was College Game Day yesterday?
I think it was in Texas.
Was it in Texas?
Yeah.
It's not always at the big games,
No,
though.
it was in Texas yesterday.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I got up late, so I was...
So that means you had to... I think I got up late, so I was tired. I mean, you had to have seen Kurt. Don't try that. Anyways. He also said they tried to rob us with the calls.
Oh,
which
God.
they
Oh,
did.
my God.
Which
Don't even
they
go to the
did.
calls.
The calls pissed you... per usual.
Referees.
Per usual, the officials
Referees.
are trash.
My
They call
God.
back that defensive pass interference and the interception. They call it back, but Texas fans start throwing water bottles and beer cans on the
Didn't
field
get a penalty.
and no penalty. We watched that Cal State Berkeley game where it was in Cal State. I forgot who they were playing against. And they start throwing those flyers. Remember the coach had to go out there?
Yeah.
And they had got 2 penalties for that.
2.
And there was some flyers. I was like, okay. Like, that was so
Where
shady.
was the flags?
They're like, oh,
Nah.
well, these things happen. Like, no, you're at home. Your team has not played great all day. And because one call's being reviewed, you get pissy. Y'all was down 8-23.
And then they reversed the call.
Then they reversed the call.
Maybe it's the water bottles hit one of them in the head.
And then, was that the game where they had 2 targeting?
2 targetings. Let me tell you something. You and I have watched targeting that was almost close to murder. And
All season.
All season.
The man hit the man in the shoulder.
He hit him in the shoulder. And the other guy might have been a little close. I've seen it. One game we watched, I mean, he hit this guy head on. Was it a quarterback? Laid him flat out.
Right.
I said, I would lay there a couple more seconds.
Yeah,
Do you know,
I sold it.
Do you know? He hit the quarterback. Laid him flat out.
No call. Not even
roughing.
Not even
roughing the
what was the
passer.
other one? Personal foul or whatever
Personal
they call
foul.
it. But it's not
Personal foul.
targeting. And that's the other thing that pisses you off is y'all need to call both. Because the one game, they only called targeting. They said, okay, it wasn't targeting, but it was a bit rough. And they didn't call personal foul, so there wasn't. Okay, you know what? I got to go to
We got to move on
school.
because we would be here forever
I
just
will be
talking
here
about
all
the
day. They
officials.
pissed me off. But Kirby had me weak. He was like, they tried to rob us here. Because they do. And I'm glad he said something. Because normally you don't always talk about the coaches and they try not to say anything because you don't want to get, the short end of the stick in another game.
True.
But no, call them out. Call them out.
Some of these coaches are starting to do that too. We
Do
saw
it.
3 coaches yesterday
Get
that
hot.
came out on that field, got hot, got in their face.
Hot.
And that's what more coaches should start doing. You keep making these calls, they're not going to stop unless somebody starts to say something.
Yeah. And sometimes I think the coaches, this year, because sometimes I'm like, oh, quit crying. But this year I feel like anytime I've seen a coach blow up, it has been warranted.
It's been warranted.
It has been warranted. Okay, so we're going to move down the line. Number 2 beat little unranked Purdue. Nobody cares.
Not even.
Number 3 and 4 were on a bye week.
Yeah.
Number 5 was Georgia. We already talked about it. Georgia won, beat number 1 Texas in Texas, which is crazy. So we're going to move on to number 6 Miami at Louisville. And I just want to talk about this because they keep saying Cam Ward for Heisman, because this is what Cam Ward does. And let me go to, I'm of 2 minds. My one mind is, why are y'all always playing close against these little unranked teams? But then my other mind is, Cam Ward don't play defense, right? He's a quarterback.
That's right. So
So you can't blame him for both sides of the ball.
do you know what that score was? Do you know what well, y'all know what the score was. It was 52-45. I got one question. Where was the defense?
There was no defense. Miami should not be number 6. I mean, everybody's going. What do they say? It's all going to come out in the wash because they are going to go against somebody. They almost lost. Cal should have won that game, but I don't think
Louisville should have won this game.
Cal cannot play a whole game. They did it against Miami, and they just did it the other day or yesterday, I think. They cannot play a whole game for some reason, and you just hate it because the program's not a popular program. And
but it's a good program.
When you get some electricity, you're hoping that something will spark, and they just this close. Which it's been a lot of teams like that for me this year. That goddamn Martinez from Miami, the one with the legs.
Yes,
he carried his team. His team too for 5 yards.
Wow, he was like.
He was crazy strong.
It's like some of these guys you have to give a pat on the back to because they're out there giving 110%. He was good.
You could not bring him down. When he got the run, he took 3 of them into the end zone with him. He was crazy. Let's talk about who got on my nerves at that Miami game. No? Okay. I'll move on. I'll shut up.
Move on.
Okay. Let's go.
You can do it all day.
Let's go to number 7 Bama versus number 11 Tennessee in
Must we?
Tennessee.
Must
No, we
we?
must.
No.
Because again, Tennessee, both of them have one loss. Both of them are SEC.
Oh.
Tennessee has a redshirt freshman as quarterback, and Bama did not look like Bama.
Bama didn't look like anything close to Alabama.
Bama looked best 2 times this season where I can recall. The last 7 minutes of the game against South
Yeah, I
Bama,
remember that one.
or South Florida, one of the two, and the first half against Georgia.
That was it. That was all we saw, Bama.
And you know what I think? I think the difference is, and it just hit me, it doesn't look like they're having fun.
You know what? They don't. They used to be laughing and giggling. Well, you're number one. Of course you're laughing and
Well,
giggling
not
on the
necessarily.
sideline.
They were only number 1 for a week.
Oh, they sure was.
Hello?
I'll take that back.
Hello?
Take that back. But usually they're at ease. Let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think as they struggle, they get tense. They get
Yes.
more tense. And the more
It
they're
doesn't
struggling,
help.
and once they get behind, it's like they come out, they're like desperate. And they make mistakes. They were just talking about it on we just watched a little bit of the clip. Saw the penalties they took yesterday?
Now, back to the
Again.
officials.
What?
Back to the officials. There was a freaking bad no call when Tennessee's guy is taunting Bama's guy.
I swung on him.
Bama's guy pushes him. He swings a punch. They only called a penalty on Bama's guy. Now, should you react when you get taunted? No, we know that.
No.
But he swung.
There should have been 2 penalties.
That should have been 2 penalties. They should have canceled each other out. That was huge. I also don't think Kalen DeBauer should have went for it on 4th down on the 22.
Yeah.
I thought he was on the other side. But you know what I did like and I respect it? They said during the game he was using the analytics a few times and he didn't feel good about it later. So he said he wasn't going to do that anymore and he was going to go with his gut.
Yeah.
And we've seen Bama convert on 4th down many a time back to back in games. So I can respect he was going with his gut. But that was a bad call on the 30-yard line when your team wasn't jiving.
Right, it was not.
Some teams, I feel like you have to know your team's identity and personality because speaking of being when you get frustrated, I think Georgia came out and I said it before the game. I said they're gonna come out pissed and they're gonna win. If they don't win, they're gonna play hard and they're gonna look good.
Well, that's what he said.
And I thought they was gonna win because I didn't think Texas was that great. If I haven't said that 20 times, and so it worked for Georgia.
It works for Georgia.
I don't think being tense and upset worked for Alabama. Not with a quarterback like Jalen Milroe.
He didn't look like Jalen Milroe.
Now
he just came out looking.
Somebody made a point and I didn't think about it, and it was because I feel like the game. You're watching the game, but it didn't feel like it's going so fast.
It is going fast.
Somebody made a comment about I wouldn't be surprised if he got hurt.
Ooh,
because in that 4th quarter, he was missing easy passes because he's a great quarterback. You cannot take away from Jalen Milroe. We've seen what he can do, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't hurt because he did not look like himself.
The O-line was trash.
He did not look like himself. The O-line wasn't there, and last but not least, the bad no call I want to talk about. Bama didn't look like Bama. The officials were trying to say, last but not least, you talk about Kalen DeBauer's job being online. You always trying to fire her.
I didn't say that.
You always trying to. You call out Ryan.
I did.
You call out every coach every time they lose. Yes, you do.
Hey, if it's not me, he's gonna be the networks.
The networks have not said anything.
Well,
and it's week 8. You have.
I'm just trying to ease him into it.
Okay. I want to say we talk about
can buy
Bama.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Who did buy out last year?
Oh, Jimbo Fisher from Texas A&M. There's a few of them. It's about 5 coaches that's on the payout. Anyway,
I'll apologize.
At different schools. We talk about the Saban effect, how it's affected Bama, right? Saban left. A lot of people don't know DeBauer. A lot of people decommitted.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Milroe was in the transfer portal when Saban retired, came back.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it, but we love to talk about the transfer portal, and we love the effect it has had.
Yeah, big.
But I think you also need to think about the Saban retiring and you talked about the recruits.
Yeah.
You brought up the recruits, and it happens all the time. People decommit from schools all the time for all kinds of reasons. But I think we don't talk about the wave that probably occurred where Bama wasn't as enticing once Saban wasn't going to be there, right?
Yes.
Because you go to school for the team, and you obviously want to go where you can start or where you can at least start next year and you learn. But you also don't mind being saying I was coached by the great Nick Saban.
Yeah, Saban.
Right. Right.
Word.
Yeah. So and so I think a lot of teams benefited from when the teams left and people who were there left, because we always hear transfer from Bama or transfer from right.
Yeah.
And so I think this had a big effect. On top of, like we've talked about, the transfer portal, right? Nobody wants to play backup if you don't have to play backup anymore.
So they just go to the
I'm not mad at you. Yeah, I want to go to Kentucky where I can start. I might not go to national championship,
but at least I'm there to start. I can be a backup.
You gonna see? Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna be a backup.
Well,
I'm gonna play.
I get to play,
and I may get to a bowl, right? So I think it just depends on what you want. Now, if you want to go to a national championship, you gonna go to Bama. You gonna sit behind somebody, and you gonna wait your turn, and you gonna hustle your butt off. Right? And that's what makes you a little bit more elite. And that's where, not to say you can't go to the NFL from any school, but that's when you're going to get all the recruits, right?
That's true.
The star, who has the pizzazz and the star power. Yeah. My name's going to become rolling off a lot more people's tongues than if I go to,
I know. That's what
Kennesaw State. Right? Okay.
Or UCF. But anywho,
well, UCF maybe not.
Not the okay.
But UCF versus Bama. Okay. Speaking of, you rolled me right into it. Number 9 Iowa State versus unranked UCF. How is Iowa State number 9?
Because they were voted number 9.
I know there was a lot of shakeup in the middle. I think sometimes they react a little dramatically. Iowa State barely won against UCF.
Yeah, we just saw that.
And UCF is playing with a new quarterback because they've benched KJ Jefferson, who was their QB1 when the season started. I don't even know the name of this kid for the backup.
Oh, God.
But there was interception after interception. The score was 38-35, and they won in the last seconds. And which a win is a win, I give you that. But Iowa State was not ranked in the beginning. The claim to fame was they beat ranked Iowa week 1 or week 2.
Yes.
And they are number 9.
They keep moving up because people keep losing. That's all I can say. That's all I can say, folks. It's just like, who do you choose? Toss a coin. They keep moving up. I lose. Hey, I move up. I lose. I move up. I don't lose. I'm moving up. Keep going. Keep it moving.
It's going to be a rude awakening.
It's going to be.
Because they are not number 9 material. But Friday night game. Number 13, BYU versus Oklahoma State. Now, Oklahoma State.
It was a good game.
Yes, it was. Oklahoma State started off, I think, ranked as well.
They did start off,
and they lost to several people. Remember, we watched the one game. Gundy was crying. They barely won the overtime, I think, against Arkansas or somebody. And it came down to the wire. Oklahoma State scored. It's 1 minute and 3 seconds left. BYU gets the ball. Now, I'm a BYU believer ever since those 4 touchdowns and 8 playing minutes against Kansas State.
Yeah.
Because who knows about Brigham Young University and how did they get 13? I just told you how. 4 touchdowns and 8 playing minutes. Minute 3 on the clock. Pass, touchdown.
I could not believe it. He did. He just came. He came right down the field.
And left 20 seconds on the clock.
And I looked at it and I went, oh no. They were leading.
What, you got the playbook here?
No, I don't have the playbook.
Oh, I thought you knew how they won. Okay.
No, I didn't have the playbook. I wish I had. I just missed the game because I just knew, BYU was.
I didn't because I like BYU. And I'm rooting for them.
And I look at the score, and they've gone up. And I went, wait a minute, did I write this down wrong? They done went up on them. I came back out here. There was I think there was a little more than a minute. I think it was maybe it's a left. They do the 2-minute warning. They got the ball back.
A 2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout. 2-minute timeout.
Oklahoma State had the ball and scored.
Oklahoma, and then they said, I
minute
said,
3. Yeah.
there's not going to be much time. He scored in a minute and 3.
No. When they got the ball, it was a minute 3 on the clock.
It was a minute 3 on the clock.
He scored
a little bit more.
in less than that because it was 40 seconds or 20 seconds on the clock when after BYU scored. Remember?
Because they
20 seconds wasn't enough.
Yeah, they was going to try.
They tried.
I went, no.
The onside kick didn't work.
It did not.
Anyhow, BYU still rolling. I'm very proud of y'all. I think a bunch of people in the middle had bye weeks or we didn't watch. Either way, number 19 Missouri versus Auburn. And I thought this was going to be a throwaway game because Auburn has not been the same Auburn since Gus left. And when did Gus leave? I have no idea. Thanks for asking. But they have not been a contentious, contender, right? Even Nick Saban said Bama felt like Tennessee game was more of a rivalry than the Auburn game they played at the end of the year. I wasn't worried about it until Auburn was taking the lead. And then come to find out, quarterback for Missouri, Brady Cook, who was quarterback last year, got hurt. It was a no-contact ankle injury, very scary. He leaves the game. And I just say, oh, no. Oh, no. You hate it. You wonder what's going to happen. You always wonder what could have been, right? Well, then, as the scores popping up across, they start to come back. And then we find out today, Brady Cook went to the hospital, come back. I don't know how he got in so quick. I've never.
Hey, he didn't even take off his uniform.
And when they say hospital, I don't know, do they have a little mobile hospital? Because this man got an MRI in 2 seconds. It takes me 3 to 6 weeks to get scheduled for an MRI.
I don't know. We're going to look that up.
I bet they do.
They have that much find money. That out. There's no way I can go to the hospital and come right back.
Because I was the only one with a hospital right next to the stadium. Remember the kids always waved? Like, what the hell? He comes back in the game. And I was like, OMG, thank goodness. Because, I want everybody to lose. Did I say that already?
Yes, you did.
Ohio State has a loss. I want everybody to have at least one loss. If we lose again, I want everybody to have 2 losses. That's just how I roll. You know what I mean? I need it to be even Steven for us. But I think Missouri's undefeated.
I did not look that much. Oh,
yeah. No, in front of you.
Yeah, I don't want to keep back and forth. Okay. But that's another thing. I'm so glad you brought it up because that SEC, and like we said, you don't want to be in the SEC right now because all these players are vying for the top. And when I say they're all vying for the top, listen, all these players, all these teams. Because I just wanted to see what the standings were. You know who at the top of the standings?
Yeah. No, I don't.
A&M. SEC number 1 team is Texas A&M right now. If they were to play, if they were to go to the championship, they play. You know who number 2 is? LSU.
Yes.
LSU. Is that even Georgia?
LSU and Texas A&M are the only 2 SEC teams that are undefeated in the SEC.
In the SEC.
Yes. And they're playing next week.
Okay.
Oh, spoiler alert. Go.
Georgia's 3rd.
Okay.
Now watch out. Now, I was a little shocked at that. I'm like, how did you? Because they're 4-1 in their conference.
Yeah.
Because they lost to
Alabama. Who now has 2 losses.
Who now has 2 losses. And I'm going, wow, this is wicked.
Bama know better. They shouldn't have lost to Vandy.
And now you got now what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Tennessee comes after Georgia.
Okay.
And guess who number 5 is?
Who?
Missouri. So when you said that, I went, this is rocking because anybody can take that top spot. All you have to do is lose 1 game.
And did we ever figure out if they do an East and West?
No, they do not do East and West.
Everybody got rid of the East and West.
Not everybody. I think Sunbelt.
SEC used to have East and West. Big Ten used to have East and West.
Yes, they did.
They just got rid of it.
I
like that. Because guess what? If 2 people on the West are great and the 2 people on the East are sorry, then one of the great people gets shafted. Then it happens to Michigan, Ohio State all the time.
And how can you do East and West when you got teams from California?
It doesn't really matter. Michigan and Ohio State were always on the West. Or on one side of the Big Ten.
One side.
We were always on one side of the Big Ten, so only one of us could make it to the championship.
Yeah, true.
Which I get, because it's like, who wants to watch them play twice?
No,
but
nobody.
I'd rather watch them play twice than to watch, a dominant Michigan go against Wisconsin. But it's like, you know what I mean? That's how it was.
So that's why I'm saying it's a bad day to be in the SEC.
We don't use dominant Michigan in the same sense this season. Speaking of,
Speaking of.
number 24 Michigan, and I only brought this up because
No, don't do that.
number 24 Michigan versus number 22 Illinois. It was two ranked
Big
teams,
Big Ten.
both Big Ten, and Michigan cannot get it going. You didn't speak about his job being on the line.
I didn't know. Yeah, that's right, Cheryl War. You know what? It's like you don't know how to describe these teams anymore. I don't know how to describe it.
I do. But I won't say it because of
this is a national champion. Ranked number 24.
And 3 losses.
Oh, God. And
3 losses, and it's only week 8.
Can it get any worse?
Yes.
Yes, it can.
Because they haven't played Ohio State yet.
Because we haven't got to the rankings yet.
Yes. Well, you haven't got to the rankings. We still got how many? 5 more weeks to go?
Right now, before the CFP
No,
goes?
just period. Regular season.
Regular season, 8, we got 7 more weeks.
7 more weeks to go.
Before the season's over.
And is it 7? I thought they only played 13 games.
I think I'm
because week 15. No, you might be right. Because if you thinking it's 13 games, 2 bye weeks, that's 15 weeks of football. You're right.
Because 15, you're right. Is when everybody has to play.
You're right. So
the conferences.
They have 5 more weeks to go. I'm pretty sure Michigan has to go up against Indiana, who's been climbing the charts.
Yes.
And they still have to play Ohio State.
Yes.
And so Michigan, it can't get worse. Thank you for asking. Can it get any worse? Yes. Okay. We want to do the rankings?
Yep.
And then we'll talk about what we want to see next week.
Because you know what, folks?
Hopefully what we want to see next week isn't negated by the crappy rankings that are going to come out.
Folks, let me say this. I know you all know the rankings by now, but
yes,
it is going to be, that's why I said it is, the next 5 weeks will tell you who's for real. I mean, you got to know. I got to win not have to win all these games, but with the race as close as it is, I got to bring my A game.
Well, you should have been bringing your A game for the first 8 weeks. I don't know where you were sleeping at the wheel. Why? This is college football.
This is college football.
This year's
nobody
different.
can sleep at the wheel.
No,
not anymore.
But this year is different to the fact where, yes, you can have 1 loss and still be in a running, right?
Yes.
But you gotta before this year, you have to have a perfect season.
Almost.
Ohio State lost and we'd be like, oh, game over, season over. You would just give up because if you're not going to national championship, who wants a bowl game? For certain fans who are talking about that.
Bowl game is still money.
Bowl game is still not. It's still nice to watch. We don't get the money. Why do we care about the money? Can I see your pen?
Okay.
I want to jot while you talk about what. Okay, give me the rankings, and I'll try not to.
Now, because you already say who you wanted.
All right. Number 1's going to be Oregon because Texas lost. You got to move them up. Number 2 is going to be, see, that's why we need to do our own rankings. That way I don't bore the people. But number 2, oddly enough, will be Penn State. They had a bye. Ohio State should be number 3. Georgia should be number 4. Now, if you move Georgia to number 2, I wouldn't be mad, but I also would call you out because what happened to Vandy? What happened to Vandy when they beat number 1 Bama? You didn't even rank them.
Hey.
All right.
And let me tell you something. As in the SEC, if Texas is ranked 5, Vandy is ranked 6. So look out. All you guys.
Oh, when the SEC.
And the SEC
standings. Well, thank you.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
SEC is one of 8 conferences.
I know. Just think what the rest of them are going through.
Oh, gosh. You focus on SEC.
All right, okay.
Everybody else.
I like the SEC.
Sorry,
okay, anyway.
and
are you ready?
Pac-2. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Here we go. That, as you said, Oregon is number 1.
Agreed. Go.
Okay. Georgia, number 2.
See?
I knew it. I tried to tell you.
I'm not mad.
I'm mad at that.
I'm only not mad, but I'm also like, where was Vanderbilt when they beat number 1 Alabama? You jumped them. Now, bye weeks, I get it. Did you really earn it? Especially when you're at the top.
Yeah.
But, and the only other reason I'm not super mad is because of the fashion. Georgia dominated that game. They controlled the whole game. They looked amazing. Texas could not do anything. I ain't mad at it, but just you see me seeing you. Go ahead, go.
All right. Penn State, number 3.
Okay.
And then we had Ohio State as number 4.
Okay.
Texas dropped to 5.
Interesting.
I told you that. Didn't I say let's go switch places?
Interesting. Because I think Texas should have dropped more.
Well,
I don't think they're that great, but number 6 didn't lose in win in great fashion, and number 7 lost. So okay, number 6, go.
Miami. They shouldn't have moved up, folks, because they barely got by.
To me, you lucky you stayed the same.
I thought it was going to drop. I had about to drop zone.
Go ahead.
Okay. Tennessee stayed. Did Tennessee stay at 7?
No, they were 11. Bama was 7. So they moved up to 7. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I've got it right in front of me. They moved up 4.
Okay.
Duh.
Okay.
LSU stayed at 8.
Okay.
Clemson moved up another one to number 9.
I like it.
Darryl, you go, boy.
I like it.
Number 10, Iowa. They dropped one.
Iowa State.
I have to make that plain. Iowa State.
Yes, they should have dropped one. Go ahead.
BYU moved up 2. They're number 11 now.
Okay.
Notre Dame is now number 12.
Okay.
But I think there was number 12.
I think they stayed the same.
Moved up 3 was Indiana. They're 13 now. I know, but they're undefeated.
They beat up. Okay.
They're undefeated.
They're undefeated. Gotta respect it after week 8, but they beat up on Nebraska. Like, okay.
Okay. Texas A&M is 14. They didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
Alabama drops to 15.
Now,
I'm not mad at that. I can't be mad. They dropped 8. I'm not mad at that.
They have 2 losses. 2 losses. One was to a ranked team, granted, a Tennessee team that I don't think is that great, but you lost to Vanderbilt. You're at 15. USC had 2 losses, they dropped them out. Michigan had 2 losses, they put them 24. Bama needs to at least be at 20. I don't care.
Okay.
And the way they looked. Now, if you would have told me Tennessee came out there, Kelly, and I thought them, no. They did. Tennessee looked weird. Bama looked awful. No, you don't need to be 15.
Okay.
And I like Jalen Milroe, and I like Kalen DeBauer, but no.
All right. Moving right along,
sorry.
Folks.
16.
Kansas State moved up to 16.
Okay.
Boise moved up 2. They're number 17 now.
Boise been killing, and they're undefeated.
Yeah, they're.
Boise's undefeated?
I think they are in their conference. Yeah, they're 5-1.
It's right here. Just
5-1.
Okay.
They're in their conference, I'm saying.
I don't care about their conference. I'm talking about the rankings. We're talking about rankings, not conferences.
They're not undefeated then.
Okay, they're 5-1.
Right.
Hard stop. Green light go.
18. Mississippi. Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, okay.
Number 19 is Pitt. They moved up 1.
Okay.
So number 20 makes that Illinois. They moved up 2. God, this is why you move up.
Illinois?
Yes, and yes.
Because they beat Michigan. Okay.
That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
That didn't make sense, but there it is. Now, Missouri fell to 21.
Why?
Yeah,
their quarterback was hurt half the game. He comes back and wins it for them. What are we talking about? But Miami's quarterback is in the whole time, and he... Okay.
You cannot.
All right.
You cannot fight with the AP. Leave them alone.
Yeah, you can. We're going to replace them with, what do we say it was called?
Coaches.
The SH?
The coaches.
No, F them too. We're going to make our own. Okay, go ahead. Who's 22?
SMU. They're 22. They moved up. Oh, they dropped 1. I don't understand. I don't know where they played.
They must, because they're trying to keep Bama in the rankings, but whatever.
I think that's what they're trying to do.
Go ahead. 23.
Oh, they played Stanford. Oh, big deal.
Who cares? Right. Yeah. Number 23.
Okay. 23 is going to be Army. They didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
Stayed the same. 24 is Navy. They moved up 1.
Okay.
Well, guess what 25 is? Hold on to your hats.
Vanderbilt.
Vandy.
Y'all made it. 3 weeks late. They should have been in the rankings.
Well, guess who's in the dropout zone?
Wait, who did Vandy play yesterday?
Ball State.
Oh, that's right. But wait, did Vandy play Kentucky? They beat Kentucky. And we talked, okay, Vandy deserve it. Okay, who fell out? Michigan. Wonk. Who cares? Who else fell out? Anybody else?
Dropout. No.
That's the only fallout.
That's the only fallout.
How the mighty have fallen. Now, how do you go from being a national championship
winner?
Don't even
talk about it.
To not being ranked by week 8. You haven't even played some of your toughest people. Because it seems like a lot of people have played non-conference games up front, and a lot of people have conference games in the second half of this season.
Now, let me tell you the one who got the next nearest votes.
Who?
Washington State.
What?
See?
Why?
I don't know. I didn't watch. Have we watched Washington State this year?
I don't think we have. Washington State is the lesser of the Washington
And Syracuse came in with 15 votes. So I'm thinking, okay, that might be interesting to see what's going to happen next week.
Which brings me to
Here we go.
the games I want to see next week.
Oh, it's going to be hot, folks.
Okay, let me go first, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
Can we
All right.
volley? Okay, because I'm
Can
sure
we
we got some
volley?
of the same ones because there's some hot
There's
games.
some hot games, folks.
Another week of ranked on ranked on ranked. There's 3 of them at least that are ranked on ranked, but I didn't pick just those. Okay, first one. Speaking of, I want to see. You gave up drinking?
Well, not
interesting.
It's tea.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anywho, go ahead.
Clank, clank, clank. Ice cubes. Okay. Unranked Syracuse versus number 19 Pitt. Both of them are ACC. Pitt has been making some noise. I want to see why. And sorry.
That's okay. No.
And your boy.
I thought I didn't want to do the same.
I was gonna call him Caitlin McCord. Kyle McCord. No disrespect. I swear to God.
No, wait a minute. You want to see who?
Syracuse unranked versus Pitt, number 19 Pitt.
Ah.
Both are ACC. Pitt's making noise. Why are they making noise? We've watched Syracuse. We know they have a good offense or decent offense. I want to see that game. What you got?
Wow, that's an interesting game. I didn't even see that. But you know what? I jumped over. I jumped over little games. I cheated.
Okay.
I didn't go to I think they're a Thursday game, aren't they?
They might be Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I see. That's what I get for jumping over the games. I should see. There it is, Thursday.
But it's not a jump over because one of them is ranked.
Yeah.
I know you normally look at the ranked
you're
first.
Right.
Yeah, 19.
I do. Okay, I did, and I just jumped right over.
Okay, so what do you got?
To the Saturday games. Now, I went right to the Saturday games, and I said, "This is another team that I don't think has been tested, and I do like them." Oh, I got Notre Dame versus Navy.
Now, who hasn't been tested?
I don't think Notre Dame.
Okay, I have to beg to differ because week one, College Station, Texas A&M, Notre Dame beat them. That is Texas A&M's only loss. It's non-conference, but their only loss.
That's true.
They won in College Station, which is the hardest place to play. Not my words. ESPN told me this. Hardest place to play college football is in College Station, the house that Johnny Manziel built.
I said Johnny
football. Okay, I had that on my list.
Oh, good.
But I got another one for you.
Go ahead.
I want to see unranked UCF versus now number 11 BYU.
Now, I didn't know who UCF was. So I gotta tell you this until they played Colorado.
Colorado, yes.
And this quarterback,
yes.
which they have since benched, KJ Jefferson.
Yes.
And I don't even know the quarterback's name now either.
I know.
But they come this close to winning.
Every time. And you know what?
I like that.
They were neck and neck yesterday, and you keep wanting to think, what if KJ Jefferson was in there? Is that the difference maker? He's huge. He's a runner. You cannot stop him. He's a passer. And I get it. I don't want to be mad at the coach because I think sometimes people stick with a decision, Concord, and you don't want to change it, and it's not to the benefit of the team. Now, they see him more than we do because we see him for whatever, an hour on Saturdays or Fridays. But I just, gosh dang it. Okay.
Okay.
You go.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yes.
Now, here's one I know y'all all going to be interested in. I want to see Missouri play Alabama.
Number 21, Missouri. Against number 15. Number 15, Bama, who should be number 20.
Now look,
I had that on my list too. Look at us.
This is what I'm looking for.
Mind.
This is what I'm looking for.
I'm listening.
What's his name? What's the coach's name?
Which one?
Boland. This is
Kalen DeBauer?
Oh, DeBauer. This is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
I'm looking for him to put some heat under their butts.
Oh, wait. Did I get that game right? Is it UCF and BYU? I might have wrote that down wrong.
Wait a minute.
I made up a whole new game, I think, y'all.
I don't know. No, because I wrote. Would you write?
Okay, I got another one I must have messed up on. Okay,
maybe I messed up.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. No.
Okay,
go ahead. I'll look it up. I'll look it up while you tell me about what you want to see from Bama, Missouri. Go.
Bama's better than this. That's all I'm going to say. Bama is better than this. And I'm going to tell you something I heard this morning, because sometimes we'll go and review, we'll look up the games. The announcer said, Bama has been so, they've had quarterbacks, they've had linebackers, they've had defensive ends just rolling off the bench. Now they don't have them anymore. And he was saying, now it has gotten thin, and these guys are coming out a little, what'd you say, I may say flat or tired. You've always said that. And you've always said that. You go 56 seconds on the field, and I just got off the field. Who did that yesterday? 56 seconds.
Poor little, was it Georgia's defense I was talking about? I know it was definitely Bama's defense. And Miami didn't have
3 and out.
It had to be.
Had to be Alabama.
Yeah.
3 and out.
They had got him in one of the. I think it was Georgia. They got him a gosh dang turnover, and 30. It was Georgia. 30 seconds
3
later,
and out.
and they have had the ball 34 seconds. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have to go back out there.
34
and
seconds.
Kelly has already said this, and I was like, Kelly, but they got backups. But like the announcer said, you're not that deep anymore. Since the portal came in, these boys aren't sitting on the bench saying I'm the third backup.
Yep.
So now I get 56 seconds on the bench, and I gotta go back out. So I want to see, and that's not always an excuse.
Yes.
But I think the coach did say in the press conference, we're not meshing, and I do agree.
Kayla said that. You know what? Speaking of backups, and speaking of, sometime maybe you should just be patient. Utah quarterback Cam Rising is out for the season.
Oh, no.
And they're looking, head coach, I think somebody said he got approved for an 8th season in college football.
Maybe him and Kyrie Leonard should get together.
Kawhi Leonard's a professional.
Well,
he's had a career.
After 8 seasons, so is Cam Rising.
But Cam Rising's in college still. He's a graduate student. How are you going to come back and play football?
You should be paying them.
Isaac Wilson was the backup. He was in yesterday. He's a true freshman. And it was so painstaking. It was the late game. We watched a piece of it. And I was so happy when he finally got a touchdown. And if you think about Bryson Barnes, who after they named Cam Rising as QB1, who was the backup last year, did great for Utah, left to go to Utah State, not doing so great there. Could have just sat and waited. I say all I have to say is being the backup, sometimes it just pays off. Okay. Did you go or did I go? You went.
I think you're next.
Yeah,
I think you're next.
I'm next. Okay. This is my one I thought I messed up on. This is a little Kelly Y. But it's a Friday game. Both teams are 4-3. Louisville versus Boston College. Louisville played Miami hard, and you know I love Castellanos.
They did.
You know I love Castellanos from Boston College.
At 52-45 score.
I gotta see it. I know it's a little bottom of the basement one.
It is.
You got it anymore?
Got any more what?
Games.
Yo, sure.
Oh, sure.
I got Texas versus Vandy. Come on, Texas. Show me what you're working with.
Now that's
Number 5 Texas. There's 25 Vandy.
Because Vandy been playing with their chest puffed out after they beat Bama, which you need to do anyways. You finally got ranked. And you seen Texas get exposed.
So what you gonna bring?
And did Texas leave everything out on the field?
We're gonna see. I want to see.
Because it seems like Bama gave all they had to that Georgia game and haven't had much else. They lost to Vandy, struggled against South Carolina, and lost yesterday. It's like that's all they had.
They had nothing.
They have not filled up the tank. Okay, I got a good one for you. I know this is on your list.
Okay.
I just mentioned them. Both of them are undefeated in their conferences.
Yeah.
Number 8 LSU against number 14. Texas A&M is 14 now, I think. 14 or 19.
Yeah,
no, leave 14. Don't worry about it. 14 at Texas A&M in College Station. LSU's only loss is week 1 against USC, which is funny now because USC has been, And so Texas A&M, same thing though. See? Both of them have week 1 losses against non-conference teams.
And they're both 1 and 2 in their conference.
Number 1 and number 2, both of them undefeated in the SEC. So somebody got to go down. Coming out in the wash, like I said.
Hey, and then this is maybe Georgia's chance to say, okay. Because one of them got to fall.
One of them has to fall.
And Georgia is right there.
And Georgia, you still got work to do.
You still got work to do.
Let's be honest.
Well, Kirby said it. There's still some things they got to work on.
Yeah.
But there's a couple. I think all the teams got a little something.
I think everything's still pretty wide open for everybody.
Yeah, for everybody
at this point.
Yeah.
I think, except for I lied. We looked, which they could get tripped up because of the way they've been playing so close to these sorry teams. They don't have defense. Miami has a cakewalk for the rest of this season.
You did look that up. They have no ranked teams.
That now that don't always mean anything.
That's true.
Vandy was unranked and won.
Yeah,
we've seen it too many times. The unranked can win.
I hope
BYU was unranked when they beat ranked Kansas State. So they could easily get tripped up. They almost beat to an unranked Cal State. Or lost to an unranked Cal State. They almost lost to an unranked Louisville.
Yes, they did.
So it could be some surprises.
It could be anything.
It could be some surprises left for Miami. But I still think there's a lot of shakeup to come.
This year, it's just proven to be a very good year. This when I first heard about everybody coming on these teams.
The conference changes.
Boy, Didn't see all this coming.
And you're absolutely right, because Texas is new to the SEC.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
First year. Oklahoma is also, but we don't want to talk about them because there's nothing to talk about. Little USC coming to the Big Ten. Got beat by Maryland by 1 point yesterday. Right? Little USC from Pac-12, obviously, to the Big Ten. Now, they do have Rutgers next week. Hopefully, they can beat up on Little Rutgers because they need something. Because they, again...
This close.
Yeah.
This close. Yeah.
But you know what? Y'all, the school made the decision to make the change because what would it be if everybody was still in the Pac-12? Now, Oregon would probably be running it.
Right.
But USC could be right behind them because who else is in the Pac-12 doing anything? Right. Nobody. Or the old Pac-12 teams, I should say. Yeah, there's no Pac-12. There's a Pac-2. 3. It's going to be Pac-6.
Yeah.
Need to be a Pac-8 or there ain't going to be a Pac-nothing. All right. That's all I got, girl.
Oh, me too. I can't do no more. If next week is as exhausting as this week, and the week
you out of gas like Bama?
What the announcer say it was no meal roll. It was gonna be. Oh,
can't believe that.
Oh,
can't believe it.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Philly D, no ghee. That's gonna mean me and football gonna be through.
Well, I'm Kelly, like the color,
and I'm ghee like the butter.
And this is Saturday Hangover. So, subscribe, come back and watch us. We'll be here next week. Call Gee. And we are out.
Adios, muchachos.
I think you said that last week.
Did I say that last week?
Oh, goodness.
Okay, I'll read it.